Right, so welcome back to the channel. Today I've come down to test out these gummy baits that we made about, gosh, got to be about 4 weeks ago now. And I'm back at Barry Docks and it's glorious day. Nice, bright and sunny. It feels as though sun's in the air, but there's a bit of a breeze blowing. But these are the gummy baits, like I say, made about 4 weeks ago, and they've been stored just in an airtight container in a plastic bag to keep it out of the light, and they are in really good condition. No mould, no fungus, no nothing, kept at room temperature. If I hadn't have put glycerine in, then these would now be covered in mould and bacteria and fungus and all sorts of stuff. So let's get this first cast out on along the distance rod, and then we'll do some lure fishing and check out those two moulded lures that we did. So I'm just going to drop these on a 2-hook flapper, and then we'll get cast out, and I'll leave them for about an hour, and we'll see how they last in the water. I have every confidence that these are going to last. Just a simple, straight through the body. They last an hour easily on the River Usk, and that's got quite a tidal flow to it, so there's good currents flowing. There's no currents here, so they should last an hour, but we'll see how they go. And what we'll do then, after I've got this casting out, I'll set up the lure rod and we'll try these on the lure. Okay, I'm going to have to sort of voice over this because the microphone was just switched off. I'm using a 1/4 ounce jig hook, and this is the moulded paddle towel bait that we made out of that crab gummy recipe. So I'm just going to hook it up the same way in which you'd hook up a small silicone lure, so through the head, out through the bottom, then we'll twist it around and bring it out through the top of the bait. So that's our paddle tail. It does seem to have curled up during storage, but it'll straighten out once it gets in the water. So let's get this cast out, and we'll use it as though it's a normal paddle tail. So we'll cast out and then slowly jig it back on a slow reel in. Now this is the first time I've used that paddle towel mould in water that I can see it moving. So I'll be interested to see how it looks as it gets closer, and then I can see the lure in the water. Weather-wise though, it's fabulous. Nice and bright, warming up. I'm going to have to start thinking about getting my UV shirts out soon as the summer comes on. So I'm just jigging it and lifting up the lure to bounce along the bottom of the dock. Now I've come down to the bottom end of the dock, so if you come down the road from Morrison's and do a right, the previous 2 times I've come down here I did the left and went up off one of the jetties. This time I've done a right and walked all the way down to the bottom of the dock. Well, not all the way, most of the way down to the bottom of the dock to see if it's any better there. It was down at the bottom of the dock that I saw those fish, so hopefully it might be a little bit better down this end. So I'll get this cast out a few times and then report back once we lose the law, if we lose the law. Okay, so we've done about, well, it was 9 casts with that gummy lure, and I think I've lost it in some weed, because there's weed around the hook. Now, because I've only got a couple of those moulded ones, I want to save the other one for a bit later. So I'm going to use one of these gummy worms from the sweet mould. So I'm just going to push it in top to bottom, turn it around and bottom to top, and hold it like that. Oops, that's actually not very well on. That's a bit better on. So we'll cast it like that. The sea fishing rod has been out for about an hour. There's been a little bit of movement, but not a great deal. I'll give it a little bit longer, then I'll bring it in and see if those baits are still on there. But let's get this cast out a few times. And what I might do after I've had a couple of casts directly out is I might just cast alongside the platform, keep it fairly close to the edge. That seems to be where the bites are, by all accounts. And then we'll see what happens. I've also been told that bass is best here as the light goes. So on an evening as the light starts to go and in the dark, bass is supposed to be better to catch. And during the day, it's the other species, especially mullet. We've got a nice bright day, a little bit of cloud. Again, a little bit of gusty wind, but not too much. And that quarter ounce weight, that jig weight, is giving me a real good cast for what I need in this location. It's getting me about 30 foot out without too much of a problem. And then it's just a case of a normal jigging, and right at the very end just wait a few minutes just in case anything's been stalked. A little bit noisy down here with the roadworks. I've come to different places. The last couple of places I fished in, when you came down the road from Morrison's, I did the left and I took the second pontoon along. This time I've done the right and I've come all the way down to the bottom, just to see if there's a bit of a change. There's been a couple of anglers down here that I've seen, but it's a Friday, so I assume it's be a lot busier on the weekend. Well, that didn't last long. That's come off in the first cast. It didn't look as though I'd had a bite. I've got some more weed on the hook. So whether or not I'm just catching a weed bed, which is taking me bait off my hook, I don't know. Let's put another one on. So that's another one on. And this time I'm just going to cast it alongside the platform, fairly close to the edge, just in case there's any fish around the edge. Right, I'm actually going to bring that sea rod in now. It's been just over an hour, but a cormorant has just taken a dive exactly over where my bait's lying. So let's bring it in. See where we are. Right, so what we have, we've got one still attached to the hook, the bottom one. Let's go. Still attached to the hook, and he's looking good. And I've lost the bait on the top one. So that's about an hour and 10 minutes. There was a little bit of movement on the rod. Get my finger out the hook, but I weren't sure whether it was a bite. I don't think it was. You know, it might have been a crab or something. So let's just put another one on at the top and cast it out again. I don't know where that cormorant's gone. But it took a dive exactly where my line went down. And I don't seem to have seen it come back up. So there you go. Reattach that top one. Let's get this recast out again. And we'll give it another couple of hours to see how that runs. Oops. Try and get it in the docks this time. I'm really missing my cap. I came out quickly this morning and I forgot to put my cap on. But even though it's quite breezy, you can feel the heat from that sun. So I think we're getting to the stage where we have to start thinking about our UV protection. I have to get my UV clothing out. Do with an ice cream right now. Make a fortune with an ice cream van down there. One of the things about being this far down along the docks is that you're right next to the main road, and it is quite a bit noisier than that. We've got a stalker. Let's see if we can tempt it. It looks like a mullet, but I'm not sure. See if we can tease him to take a strike. No, it looks like it's gone. See if we can spot him again. Following about 6 inches behind the lure. But it's just gone now. So I'll play with it for a little while just in case it's still in the region. Try to take a little bit deeper the lure. See if I can tempt him to come up. No, looks like he's gone. That's a bit of a shame. Let's just cast down the edge of that platform again, just in case. Just in case he's heading home. Don't know if mullets are territorial or not. Don't know. But it does show the benefits of having a good pair of polarized glasses. Proper polarization. You can get two types. You can get the spray-on polarizing, which isn't that great, or you can have your proper polarizing layer built in within the glass, and that's your best type. Um, multi-layered lens is far better than the spray-on polarizing lens. Oh well, let's carry on. Maybe I'll get him to have another go at it. That is crazy. Sat there, minding my own business, having a cup of coffee, and I saw it must have been a bass. It was silver, about that big. It's hard to tell underwater. Swum down, looked at me, waved with its fin, and swum off. Okay, it didn't stop and wave at me, but it was just nonchalantly floating past, minding its own business. But it does show that the fish are out. It does show the bass are swimming, if not feeding. Let's see if we can find it. That wind has really started to gust up. And there's a bit of cloud in the sky now. It's getting a little bit overcast. But it's still nice and warm. Sometimes it's not a good idea to have really good polarized sunglasses. Okay, I'll be honest with you. After seeing that bass, I've given up on doing experimenting with and testing of the gummy baits. I'm going for that bass. So I swapped out for a nice stick worm, purple with lots of green and red glittering, using that same 1/4 ounce jig hook. I'm going for that bass. If I lose the microphone from the wind, I lose the microphone. I'm keeping the sea rod out with those 2 baits on to see how long they last. I mean, it's probably been out for about 2.5 hours, maybe more. We lost that top one after about 1 hour and 10 minutes. So we'll see what happens with the others when I bring them in. Okay, so I'm just going to swap out this lure. Not getting much in the way of response to this. So I'm going to swap it out for one of these crawfish. A little bit more visibility with this sort of colour. So I'm going to have the yellow underbelly and the green at the top. The other thing I forgot to bring with me, which I've just noticed, is my remote control for the phone. So I can't automatically set off the video recording. I have to manually do it. I've noticed that there seems to be a bit more fish action down this end of the dock, but it is quite noisy and there's a lot of passerbys. Up at the other end towards dock gates, you do the left from Morrison's, it does seem to be a lot quieter. But the 2 times I fished there, I didn't see a fish. So far, I saw one swimming out with me and waving at me, and I felt which was a bass, and I've also had a mullet sort of stalking that gummy lure. So there's a bit more action coming down here, but it's just not as quiet. But let's give this crawfish a go. I think I've definitely found my new testing site, at least until Coronation Park scheme's finished next year. I've been here for about 4 hours now, and I didn't have to get up particularly early to get here. If this was a river Usk, I'd have had to be up quite early because of the tide, and I'd have had 3 hours fishing maximum because you just run out of water. Also, there doesn't seem to be any snagging here from my experience. So I'll be able to do a lot of testing out here in future. It's a good job that in Wales you get your free bus pass at 60, so it doesn't cost anything to come over this far. One of the benefits about living in Wales compared to England, you have to wait till you're 67 before you get free bus travel. And if the government is really serious about tackling climate change and taking cars off the road, they really should follow Wales. And I believe Scotland's also 60, and I believe Northern Ireland is also 60 for free bus travel. So why England is at 67, I really don't know. Bring it down to 60, you'll take a lot of cars off the road, and you'll take a big step towards carbon reduction. Nice thing is, because this is snag free, next time I'll be able to bring down some jointed lures, the hard lures to try. I did buy a load of them. It cost me a fortune. It was about £8, £9, £10 each, some of them were. And the number I've lost on the River Usk because it's just so snaggy is unbelievable. I think I went out to one session with the hard lures, and I lost 4. You know, it was an expensive session, £20, £25. Well, it doesn't seem to be any snags down here, so I'll bring down some of the hard lures that I sell on the website, and we'll give them a try, and we can give them a review. We've also got a couple of nice rods coming as well, so we'll bring those down here and give those a try. It's just that it's really difficult to do review of the items when you're restricted to a tidal river like the Usk. You just don't get the time because you have to try and work it in around the tides, your work, and the weather. Whereas here, it's just come down. You know, I can do 9 to 5 down here on a normal working day to do some product reviews, and there's always water here. Well, these crawfish look really nice. I'm going to see if I can sort out some way of doing the camera work to see how these lures work in the water. Maybe get a head strap for an action cam or something. I wouldn't want to hold a mobile phone over the edge. Not on a tripod anyway. It's about 3 o'clock, just after 3 o'clock. Getting to get a little bit overcast. Maybe that's what's getting the fish a little bit excited and a little bit worked up for feeding. Well, we'll be here till about 4 before I head back. I mean, that'll be a good 6-hour session. Something you could never do in Newport. Yeah, we'll try and sort of take some way of doing the camera and filming over the edge to see the lure moving around. I've got a bass just swimming behind my lure. You're about, I don't know, judging from where my lead line is for that weight, I'd say about maybe 8 inches below, just on the edge of visibility. Nice silver fish. Can't tell how big it is. Oh, come on. Just having a little sniff at that crawfish. Missed it. Damn. Oh well. Let's carry on and see if we can grab it next time. Don't know how long it had been following or how far away it had been out. But a little bit of excitement. Right, I just want to bring in that sea fishing rod with the gummy baits on, because I really do just want to concentrate on this bass now. They are moving, they are swimming, and I want to concentrate on them. So let's just bring it in. Been out for about 4 hours in total. That top bait we lost after 2 hours, and the bottom bait has been on for 2 hours, plus this extra 2 hours. So we'll see what we have. Yep, so that top one was out for 2 hours, and that bottom one has been out for 4 hours. So they do hold up quite well. So let's bring this rod in and pack it away, and then just concentrate on this lure rod for those bass that I've been seen swimming around. Okay, so I didn't quite get to do the full test that I wanted to do because I got struck down with bass fever, and this is much more important. What it shows is that the gummy worms, when being cast out and left, their last hours, a couple of hours without a problem, and all the time is going to be releasing. I think it was crab flavour we did. I wasn't too sure, but I think it's crab flavour. So that flavour is going to be wafting down the water. Not sure whether this is the right location to try and catch a fish using that style of fishing, but I've shown that it lasts in water. On the lure rod, that paddle tail mould that we did, I only used the one before I changed over. Got about 8, 9 casts out of it, and then I think it got caught up in some weed and it broke off in the weed. But it did look really good in the water. It sort of flapped around like you would expect a plastic or soft silicone to have that sort of action. And then when I swapped over to the gummy worm, the S-shaped one, the sweet mould, so to speak, that actually lasted a lot longer. And that's the one that attracted that mullet to stalk it. and it did last longer. And I think because that S-bend shape probably gives it a bit more strength compared to the paddle tail, which is just one long shape. And there's lots of movement, as you would expect with a paddle tail, and that would all add on to the stress for a gummy bear or a gummy bait. Wouldn't matter so much being soft plastic because it can take that, but a gummy uh, bait doesn't have that same degree of strength, so that's probably why it broke off. But the S-shaped one lasted a lot longer, and it did attract a mullet. Didn't get the mullet, but it was at least stalking it. But at the moment, I've got bass fever. I'm on this crawfish, which has attracted the one. I missed the strike on it though, but I'm hoping to get another one before we finish. I think I'll probably get up till about 4, 4:30, and then call it a day. I mean, that's a good 6.5 hours fishing, which is ideal. You know, something I'd never get down at Newport on the River Usk. But I wonder, you know, are there fish down this end of the dock and not at the other end? Because I spent 2 times fishing up there and never even saw a fish. But down here, at least I'm seeing the fish. And hopefully by the end of the session, I'll have one. Well, I'm in no rush to get home, so I'm going to hang around another hour or so. I mean, I've had a few orders come through on the website for processing, but they won't go till tomorrow anyway, at the earliest. So, no need to rush home. I'm actually just going to play about with a few colours on the lures. I've got some really small paddle tails I'm going to swap out. Just sticking with this quarter ounce jig head right hook. So this one we go with we're going with a sort of green with a yellow body bottom and on the paddle tail. So we'll give that a try. As I say, I'm in no major rush to get home, so I might hang around till about 5. Couple of hours to get back home, take me up to about 7, 7:15. Not a problem. It's not often I enjoy a venue as much as I'm enjoying this one. Just got to try and find out which lure it is. That will be tasty for the bass. I'm doing it fairly slowly, let it bounce up and down on the bottom. So that way I might get another bottom feeder, take it. What I'll do next time is I'll make sure I bring some top water lures with me, and then we can try the top and the bottom as well. Let's start to get a little bit overcast now, and that wind is really beginning to pick up a bit. Not my best of cast. Ooh, saying that, I've got something down there. I think it might be a mullet. I wonder if these fish are resident, because that gate doesn't open very often, so fish must come in here. If they get caught in here, still there. Must stay residents here, I should imagine. No, it's gone. Um, I was hoping to get a bite on that one. So I don't know what the fish situation is out here. I'll have to try and find out if there's been any research on the fish population in here and whether they are migratory or go with the tides or whether they're resident here or not. Sure, Swansea University would have done something down here. They've got a fairly decent marine biology unit. I do get quick flashes of mullet around the edge down here, or at least what looks like a mullet. Uh, well, they don't seem to be feeding just yet. Maybe it's still a bit early. If the fish population is here is resident, then I assume it'll be far more sort of in line with the daylight and dusk and dawn than it does with tides. So maybe they just feed at dusk. I don't know. I see what looks like a bass about 15 foot out. That's gone now. But it must have been about, I'd imagine about 6 inches from the top. So I think top law might might work. I'll bring one out next time and give it a go. But they're definitely active down this part of the dock compared to the other parts. But again, fish move, so you can't say it's always going to be that way. But when I came down here, when I wasn't fishing, and I just came down to explore, I saw fish. I don't know whether you can see it, whether I've got it on camera, but right at the very end, along the end part where those flats are, that's where I saw what looked like possible mullet. So this part of the dock might be the place. That was a bass. It jumped, and again, we're talking about 10 to 15 feet away from the edge, if that. Okay, we got one just coming out behind it, just trading that lure, trying to give it a bit of a jiggle, have a bit more patience than last time. See if we can get it to strike a bit better. Come on. Come on. Just looking at it at the moment. Trying to get it up and down a little bit more. But nah, it's gone. Let's take it down and see if it's gone down. It looks like it's gone. The fish just seems to be coming up to the top of the water now. Maybe it's because it's getting a little bit warmer. It's had all day, the sun's had all day to warm the water up. And again towards dusk, and getting ready to feed. Uh, but I've definitely gone bass crazy. I got the bass fever. And that's it. Let's just do a couple more casts, and then we'll maybe head off for some tea up at Morrison's. So until next time, we've done our testing of those gummy baits, and I got a bit of a bass fever, and I had a very good 6-hour session down here. So until next time, tight lines. Please like, subscribe, and follow.